Here's where we are in the world. China. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
And this is why I believe Shenzhen is the most futuristic city in the world.
Shenzhen. Right there.
We are in the Silicon Valley of China. 50 years ago, none of this existed. We were literally standing on farmland. So I'm going to go and show you some of the innovation that's occurred here in the last, call it 10, 20, 30 years, and show you why I choose to spend most of my time here whilst I'm in China.
Plus, no matter what.
We're just going to look at some cars, technology.
No matter what. I got someone on the inside.
Here in this robotics lab in Shenzhen, and some of the innovation here is crazy. So look at this. You've got like a complete robo coffee machine barista. So in Australia and around the world, you've got people who make coffees. This machine does all of it for you. Just like you tell someone what coffee you want, you select, you want a latte, cappuccino. The machine, robotic arm, then moves up, puts the coffee cup there, makes the coffee, and then we'll even go and froth the milk, swirl the thing around, and then pour it into the cup. So to get this right is really advanced. And to actually see this working, I've heard about this stuff online before, is really cool. So it's going to foam my face onto the coffee. How does my face taste? Good, actually. That's really good. Yeah, I wonder how well this actually works, but we'll find out in a second.
Go.
Yeah, that actually worked really well. So you just want to like staunch people and walk really fast. You just go up, you just be like, whoa. No, that would actually work really well because they're like, essentially all they pretty much do is they just yank your knee up and they know when you're about to like make a step. So it just kind of works in time. So you walk really, really easy and fast. So like this, it's like, well, I mean, they look stupid, but apart from the fact them looking stupid, they're actually really, really cool. I think maybe people with knee problems, this might help. I don't have any leg problems, but I think if you had some sort of leg issue, maybe for older people, if it genuinely helps, like actually like pull their knee up or something, but I think it would. We should get our grandparents here and get them to try it out. So 5,000 RMB is about 1,000 Australian dollars for one of these. Which, I mean, to be fair, if you had leg problems or something, this would actually, $750 US for one of these. And this would probably help a lot of people. And I haven't seen anyone selling something like this. Some of the robotics they've got here are incredible. So start here. You've got this like machine bin thing. Essentially, will follow you around a restaurant. You can put rubbish in it. Again, cool. Look at this thing. It's like one of those like robo waiters. So you put food here. It'll go around table to table and serve. This is like a massage machine. So think of like the tens of thousands of masseuses we have in Australia, and this will probably take all their jobs in the next couple of years. So you could buy one of these for your house, click like deep tissue massage, and it will literally give you a massage all day. So I'm going to try to figure out how to buy one, and I think we actually can. And finally, we've got this like robo cooking machine. So you think chefs, and you think kind of like repetitive tasks, especially in like those commercial kitchens, right? This sort of stuff is game changing. It's really, really cool to see. And finally, this robot thing. So you can actually buy this for 20,000 Australian dollars. It walks, runs. There's a version that even fights, and apparently they've got like robo fighting competitions. But it's got all its eyes in here. You can literally control it on your phone. It's got like radar vision sensors as well. And we're sitting outside watching this thing dance for the last 15 minutes. So it is the real legit thing. See this happening, and the fact that you can buy this stuff now in China. I think it's only a couple of years until it comes to the West, but yeah, I feel like these guys are like years ahead of some of the stuff that we have in stores today. So seeing it live is like, it's next level.
We could turn this around. Plus, no matter what.
So we're in a Tesla showroom here in Shenzhen, China. And you see here, there's a Model Y. We've all seen these before. They sell them everywhere in the world. But they're charging 35,000 US dollars for one of these. Now, we can look at some Chinese cars, and the difference between a Tesla, which is 35,000 US dollars, compared to these Chinese cars that are like half the price and have twice the amount of features is crazy. You see most of the EVs, well, not most of, but a lot of the EVs driving around in China are XPeng. I reckon this will be like the next version of BYD that we'll see soon. Check that out. They have like a full sleep. And it's like a Tesla, but meaningfully better. Like leather quality, you've got all the different touchpads. This is great.
This is awesome. This is the best car I've ever been in. It's like a Porsche. It's got the modes. Oh, and then even like when I put in sport, it hugs me in the seat. Holy, let me get some translate on this thing.
Is this safe to say better than Tesla?
Hell yeah.
Would you buy one in Australia?
Hell yeah, I'd buy one of these. This is awesome. It's very much like a Tesla. It's got a little heads-up display, like a little display. I think it's got a heads-up display, but of course it's not running.
This just gives you the bare bit of information, and then you've got your speed and everything still here, and then you've got the heads-up display, and then you've got the auto mirror as well, like the Range Rover.
This is nuts.
So it's a camera that just shoots back. Is it leather quality nice? I would seriously buy one in Australia. $30,000, so about 50,000 Australian for this. Yeah. You're selling Algalia? No, not yet. You should. You should bring to Algalia. You should sell. It's very good. Very good. See the brakes on it too. Brembo, huge, like 500 horsepower. And an electric car. This isn't a Tesla. This is a Chinese EV. This is the Xpeng P7. It goes 0 to 100 in less than 4 seconds. And look at this thing. The inside of this thing feels like an Apple store. Yeah, I mean, they just kind of copied Tesla and they just made it better, to be honest. Like, feel this. It's all lovely, cheaper. Yeah, it's cheaper, and it'll be like half the price. I'd buy one. So we've just been at Xiaomi, and they can charge 0 to 80% in under 12 minutes. And like, for example, these guys here, they've just put their own spin on it. So, you know, you've kind of got the same type of layout as Xiaomi. They're all kind of the same. Cool, modern maps, nice leather, aircon feels great, big sunroof. I mean, it's like kind of what you want in a car. How do we import these to Australia? I think looking at what China and the government are doing with these EV subsidies is really interesting because I think for Western brands, trying to compete with the quality and the price of these cars, like I don't even know how Tesla still sells a car here because as we saw, Tesla's still twice the price of some of these Xiaomi cars and every other brand that we've seen. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of years, but to see it firsthand is it's pretty cool. We're here at the DJI flagship store in Shenzhen, China. DJI was born in the roots of Shenzhen, but if you're from the Western world, you would know this brand. Drones, cameras, and this was a little business that was started here. All their products are manufactured here, and this is their flagship store. So it's cool to be here and kind of see what sort of cutting edge products they've got. So check out the first drone they ever made. This was 2006. I couldn't even like get the wires in the drone properly. But you see how far these guys have come? You remember like the DJI Standard, and then we had like the Phantom 4, and then you look at the size of these things. You can like carry a body in them. It's a 30 kilo payload. I've never seen this before, ever. Morning. One of the big things people do in Shenzhen is order everything through WeChat. So in the West, we just use like WhatsApp to communicate. Here in China, they use WeChat, but they use it to order most things. So for example, this morning, we're going to get some coffee. Now, you don't go and talk to a barista, order your latte, and tell them you want 4 sugars. You scan a QR code, fire it up on WeChat, order it through that. You don't talk to anyone and you just go and pick it up. So this is how it works. So in WeChat, you fire up like a mini program. So it looks like a completely separate app within the app. You've got all your options here. So it's kind of Western stuff, I guess. Grape iced tea, raw coconut grove lick. You can go coffee, classic coffee, so vanilla latte, cappuccino. So it'll be in Chinese when you fire it up. Click translate and it'll translate this into like dodgy English, but at least it's then readable. So you just select, say you want a matcha through, you can see it translates. You want a big cup, you want iced or hot, no added sugar, and you go buy now, and then you'll use WeChat Pay to then pay for it. So it's pretty cool how like everything happens within the app. You can communicate, you can browse products, you can order, you can pay, you can get a car to go and deliver it, you can get someone to deliver it to you. I feel like people in the West have tried to do apps like this before, but no one has really done it like China has with WeChat. It's really cool to see, and it makes life so convenient. We're going to go to the biggest coffee chain in China that you have never heard of before. I'm going to take you to the biggest coffee chain in the world that you have never heard of. They were founded in 2017 and they already have 23,000 stores. They're opening 17 new stores per day. Everything's ordered through WeChat. You pay in WeChat. You get a notification when the coffee is ready. And this is why millions of people in China order through Luckin Coffee every day. I think just like the structural advantage these guys have is there is no like queue. Everyone orders through the app so they can serve way more people. People order on the app before they even get in here. So the store can be a micro size like this one is. But again, as we saw, they literally have like 10, 15, 20 orders on the desk at any one point in time waiting to be picked up. Wow. Tastes like coffee. No, it's good. It's kind of same. And I mean, this cost us 17 RMB, which is about three and a half Australian dollars. We're going to try a self-driving Chinese taxi. So they've got these obviously in America, so San Francisco, Austin, all the major cities, but they have it here in China, of course. So we're going to go, we've just ordered one. It's coming to pick us up. So we'll see what the experience feels like compared to a American-made robo-taxi. There's someone in it. There's someone in it. It's not really self-driving. We're in a Chinese self-driving EV that's not really self-driving. I mean, look, it is, but the guy in front is still here. So we ordered this thing thinking that would have no one in it, which is what I've seen before, but no. Some guy in the front. Yeah, so the American equivalent wins. There we go. But it seemed pretty cool, though. It is driving itself, to be fair. And you can see kind of exactly what it sees on the screen, which it sees everything, clearly. So the outcome? Don't waste your time on a self-driving Chinese EV yet. Give it a couple of years. Are you going soon? Like how soon?
Next month.
Next month? Really?
Yeah.
Are you excited?
No.
No. Why?
My English is not good.
But you'll learn English in Australia.
Can you teach me English?
I can try, but you gotta teach me Chinese.
Yes, I can.
He's like saying he's gonna come to Australia, and they love Australia, which is really, really cool. They're all like, they're so excited to meet, and I don't know, maybe it's my hair or fashion sense, maybe. Dashing looks. Humor they don't get. But yeah, they're really nice. So apparently he's going to come and study in Australia next month. I'm eating food, more staring, and I'm like, my body's just been pierced. Anyway, we're trying to find reasons to come up and speak. Anyway, he gave us an intro on how to use the cups properly. Apparently you're not meant to use a straw. Oops. And then, yeah, he came up and kind of like prepared some English and did the whole thing, but really, really cool. This has been your behind the scenes of Shenzhen. This place is like very much the Silicon Valley of China, and call it the East. So if you are here in China or you make the trip, Shenzhen is like, I'd say stop number one. You'll be totally blown away by what you see. And I think hopefully through this video, a lot of the conceptions people have around China, being dirty and maybe old and other things people might think is totally not true. People here are so goddamn friendly. The cities are advanced. There's so much going on here. So if you do get the chance to come make the trip, come to Shenzhen, check it out and see all this stuff for yourself. It's worth it.